So today we're going to be streaming Binding of Isaac. I've been a little bit under the weather, which is why I haven't been able to start in the series. I'm feeling a little bit better, but most likely I don't want to do another run because it would take too long and whatever, blah blah blah. So what we're going to do instead of having a painstakingly awful run with Jacob and Esau and whatever, or Unlocking the Lost, we are going to be discussing the Antibirth items. Now the Antibirth items are generally really good. Okay, a lot of them are just really good, really useful. Yeah, there are some bad apples, don't get me wrong, and there's some that are not even implemented into the game yet. That being said though, I'm going to go through most of them and we're going to be talking about them. This may be a multi-parter because I don't want people to sit here and be like, oh yeah, we're just going to talk about them randomly. The order I'm going through is the Binding of Isaac Antibirth by Platinum God CO UK. It's a great way of looking at the items. You can find which ones are which. It also works for Enter the Gungeon, and we're going to be going through the order. So how it works is you go to the website, Antibirth, and each one tells you what they do, right? But I'm going to go into more depth of what they do individually, and sometimes the description doesn't even match what they're doing. So let's begin. Now I got the cheat engine thing to work. It's under heavy review. What is this? Let me just continue the run so it doesn't just end. I'll just finish this run real quick. Do I still have like no damage or something? Yeah, I have no damage. What the hell? Yeah, thanks, adversary. I'll keep taking damage. I need damage up all the time. Yeah, I was doing this run earlier. I'll take that. So this, okay, so I remember what this run was. It's a seeded run with Eden, and the only reason I watched that is because I was watching Huts Gaming, and he got a pretty good Eden seed. I want to see if it works, but it doesn't. When you unlock everything, it doesn't give you Immaculate Heart or the red candle because of the way Eden works. So when you choose Eden and you start a run, the game starts off by giving a bunch of values that determine your heart count, your tier rate, your damage, your luck up, basically everything about you. So sometimes you can get really lucky and get 3 red hearts and a good item. But most of the time, everybody knows how that works. You get random health, and it's just overall random. It is a possibility, but anyways, when I was using so instead of getting Immaculate Heart, I got this other Angel Deal item, which is called I don't know, it's Candle something. Basically what it does is, as long as you don't take damage, your tier rate goes up. And how much the tier rate goes up, it goes past the tier cap, which means if you're at like, let's say you picked up 2 tiers up items, stock tiers up items. So we're just gonna do that. Oops. Shit. I don't think quitting. Yeah, I have a pretty decent streak. I don't think seeded runs count or negative. So we're gonna go into an item room, and the first item we're gonna talk about is Mucormyosis. Now I just want to see if I restart this run, I'll be fine. Like, let's see, I'll just return. Nope. Yeah, it's 0-1 streak, who cares? I don't think it's. Oh, right, basement is the Easter egg, never mind. So I guess we'll just hold our. Okay. So that's Tubble Lard. Our first primary objective is to get rid of that item, and then I'm gonna go to Cheat Engine and change it. So the first item we're gonna look for is mucormyosis. So just give me some time to find it. Alright. So mucormyosis is that well, let me just grab that too. We're just gonna leave it there. So what mucormyosis does is gives some sort of fungus inside of Isaac's eyes. Now because of this, every time you kill an enemy you'll get an explosive powder shot. What the explosive powder shot does is it effectively gives better crowd control. If you're killing enemies in a huge crowd like flies or leeches on floor 1, this is extremely helpful due to the fact that the explosion lingers, which means, you know, if it's a summoner enemy, you'll infect all the enemies too. And this also translates to familiars, so don't worry about like having a bunch of familiars and it doesn't work. See how I killed that entire group just by shooting at them? The Gust Cloud also gives you knockback, which can be good and can be bad. Most of the time it's beneficial because most of the time it saves you from contact damage, but for characters as lost it could be extremely detrimental. Mucormyosis really doesn't have that many synergies, it really just sticks with what it has. I guess the only one that would really be any worth would be, I guess, anything that happens when somebody dies, but most of that usually comes from Antibirth. Like if it was linked with Emperor's Kiss, it would be actually overpowered. So we're just gonna do the whole R strategy until we get an item room. But that was mucormyosis. The next item we're gonna be doing is too spooky for me. That's actually perfect because that's how I want to test it. So too spooky for me gives you extra range, but it gives you this extremely gruesome face. What the gruesome face does is it applies fear to enemies when they come in contact. That is not who I wanted to fight. So give me a few moments while I kill Pride. So when enemies come to you in a short range, they will run away. And it can loop. It loops a lot actually. Especially on normal enemies. I mean, you're effectively safe as long as they don't shoot. This makes them run weird angles, but for the most part you can control where they go. Now, Fear and Rebirth is stronger than Afterbirth Fear because of the sheer fact that primarily because it prevents them from, if the enemy is shooting, they won't shoot until the fear runs out, and the fear works with you too as well. It's generally useful, but on bosses it's not very useful by much. It only works a couple of times. That's because all bosses have a refresh counter for whenever they appear, which I believe is every 10 seconds. Again, it's really good to play defensively, so characters like the Lost need to thrive on it. But any fast tackling enemies like squirts and dips will penetrate through it. So do not rely too much on the fact that they'll run away the second they come close to you, especially on boss-like enemies. And that would be too spooky for me. I feel like I did a pretty good sighting for that. Oh no. What's the next item? It'll be backpack. So the school bag is, well, the school bag is pretty much self-explanatory. It gives you an extra slot for... It will give you an extra slot for active items. So let's say, you know, you got yourself... you found a meat cleaver, which is another Antibirth item. You can use it to hold it. It's basically what it was. It's what came before the. It's what came before the Afterbirth version, which is, I believe, school bag, but or backpack of some sort. It's not really all that important. Wow, that is awful. Why did I do that? I think this goes without... I don't really need to keep playing this. I don't want to play with Meat Cleaver. Let's see if there's anything in here. Oh yeah, definitely. I'll just take that real quick. Yeah, I'll take that too. Alright, so the next item we will be doing is sulfur. Now, sulfur is probably one of my favorite ones. So we're gonna go straight up. So sulfur is here. So sulfur, what it essentially does is it gives you temporary brimstone. So we're going to change it to battery pack. And the reason we're going to use battery pack is so that, you know, we get a charge. So if I can see it. Battery pack should be the last item, I believe. No. Okay, so battery pack is after membership card and active attrition. Concentration, so I see concentration, it's right below that. Crap. Oh, it's probably in the shop items then. Meat cleaver, nothing, lot fly, breathway, lodestone, lot tomato, bird's eye, road dumpy, donkey jawbone, bird. Okay, this is actually turning a lot more. Okay, there it is. Alright. So on its own, it just gives you brimstone. The second you leave the room, you lose it. However, if you use it once indoors, and in the same one again, you get to keep it throughout the run. The biggest problem with this is it's a one-heart devil deal item, and it's an active item, and once you get the sulfur, it doesn't give you like a bonus damage for going into another room with it. So essentially, this active item is useless unless you're playing two-player co-op. don't think there's more to go against this. Just if you find it in at least early floors, make sure to find 2 batteries and use it in 1 room. That's it, really. I don't feel like it's necessary to continue on. So we're gonna keep resetting until we get an item room nearby. So next item we're gonna be looking at is the fortune cookie. Oh right, let me look up some prerequisites. No, there's no prerequisites for it. Alright, so when I say prerequisite, I mean like something you need to do before the item is actually unlocked for you. So we're gonna be looking at fortune cookie. A fortune cookie is a strange item. It's not too hard to comprehend, but just gotta find it. Fortune cookie should be directly. Here it is. Let me turn down the music. It's a bit loud on my end. Alright. So fortune cookie. So fortune cookie is quite simple. It's a 2-charge active item. It has a chance to drop cards, soul hearts, or the best thing, advice. Advice is probably the funniest ones you can get. And I'm gonna probably save familiars for last. I think that'll be part 2 because, well, familiars really don't have much to them. Should have given myself a 9-volt. So as you see, they gave me a soul heart. That's a really rare chance. I'm not entirely sure of the likelihoods and luck based off of it, but I think it's based off luck. But much like the tarot cards and mom's pills, bottle of pills, it's not guaranteed I'll give you something good, it's just that it'll give you something to work with. Well, I didn't do anything. Well, I do a poison fart or something. Pheromone fart. Oh, that works too. Oh, you do damage. I did not know that. I don't use little dumpy. Unless I have no other choice. Wow, Iron Tackle does damage. Another. Okay, so I'm getting pretty lucky. I think it's not really hard to comprehend. Like, let's see here. I'm gonna put another battery pack. Battery pack. So as you saw, 4 in a row, we got a bunch of useless notes. So let's see what else it does. Again, hardly anything. So it's pretty good for a 1st or 2nd floor. It should give you. There it is. There's a tarot card.
It's the high priestess, so you know, only use it when you have friends around.
But that's the fortune cookie. I don't see it as a very good item, but it's a very subpar item. Alright, next item we'll be looking at is the Ice Sword. To get the Ice Sword, there's nothing. Ice Sword is quite a simple item to comprehend. Think of it as Monstro's Lung, but everywhere. So we're gonna go get Ice Sword. Ice Sword, basically you have your straight shots, and randomly you shoot tears around. This is a relatively good item, but you don't really see much effect when your tear rate is high and you have something that would be very beneficial. Like, let's try putting... It's great for crowd control, and it's also great for laying down fire. Like, for example, let's try putting something stupid like soy milk or something. Where's soy milk? Shit. See, in the cheat engine I got, it keeps resetting it to blue maps for some reason. So let's just see. With soy milk, you kind of just shoot. You have your normal tiers, and you just kind of shoot randomly all around. I'm not entirely sure if it's depending on luck or not, but I think it's very simple to understand what this does. With brimstone, it's good, I guess. Brimstone, but any synergy that has explosive shots like Dr. Fetus, Epic Fetus, would be extremely detrimental if you get it, because it will be, you know, self-harm, and you wouldn't want something like that. Alright, so the next item we'll be looking at is 120 volt. 120 volt is a very good, unique item. It works with nearly all synergies except for bomb. So Dr. Fetus and Epic Fetus, you're gonna have to sit in the back. So what 20 volt does is that every time your tears make contact with any enemy, it will shock nearby enemies. It's great for crowd control and deals significant damage. The damage doesn't really scale down, so if you have high damage, you can effectively take out an entire room full of the enemies. The reason I'm resisting you to like go past the second floor is because it won't show, you know, here showing like a great example of handling more than one enemy and how you'd be just fine by taking it on. It also makes it great for crowd control, where you can just hover over the enemies and, you know. This makes some of the enemies like the Mulligans and maybe even Beelzebub extremely much easier to handle than normal. 120 volt is, and it works with all synergies, even with brimstone. So you don't lose any. There's no negatives for taking this item. I guess the only thing you get is you lose Isaac's face. Right, so the next item we're going to be talking about is It Hurts. It Hurts is one of the more gruesome items. Basically, your mouth is sewn shut, and every time you get hit, you deal a Tammy's head effect, and you get a tears up for the room. Effectively being a combination of varicose veins and Tammy's head, as well as milk, all in one. Now, this can be achieved pretty well if you use items that damage you for whatever. For example, let's take an item like the dull razor. No, the not the dull razor. Yeah, I guess I'll just go to the IV bag. No, IV bag is a number, so it's going all the way up here. Huh. Well, I can't find it, so... Heat cleaver, stone bombs, mega marsh, sharp key, red... Alright, give me a moment. The intruder, the occult, immaculate heart, Plano, cookie. I'm looking for voodoo pin. So voodoo pin is the dull razor of the game, and for the most part, it's a generally good item. It damages you without hurting you, like making you lose life points.
It's time to kick Machu ass.
I think the best version would be able to put it against the boss. But anyways, so what it does, like I said earlier, every time you take damage, you get a tears up, varicose veins effect where you shoot Tammy's head bullets everywhere, and the tear. So for example, we're gonna use it up right now. We get a 3 tears up, then we get more. I think the cap is to the tier cap. Or no, I think it even goes deeper than that. Let's go. No, it can actually go pretty far down. So, you know, if you're truly feeling like you can somehow manage to survive this many hits, I guess go for it. I guess if you can do the Blessed Penny, IV bag combo, then I guess it can make it work. But as it stands, you'll most likely get a tears down by like maybe 2 or 3 after 5. But when you leave the room, you know, you lose it all, and it's not that effective. Overall, it's a decent item as long as you have the items that work with it. But it also makes it great to punish enemies when you attack them. Alright, so the next item we're gonna be looking at is almond milk. Now, that may sound familiar to some. And almond milk is one of the it's basically crazy soy milk. Almond milk, in my opinion, is a great item. It's a great item. There's no doubt about it. It's a tears down. I mean, no, it's a tears up, but damage down. Almost as bad as the soy milk. But the main gimmick about it is that the tiers are wacky. You have every tier and worm effect all at once. So that includes hookworm, brainworm, ringworm, hookworm. Overall, it's a very beneficial one, especially because although it's a very weakening item, keep in mind that Libra still exists, and hell, if you find rock bottom before you find almond milk, it's a godsend. No, of course, right now it's really bad. But it's one of those, hey, it shoots a lot in random directions. Eventually it's gonna kill something. And I'm just recklessly running into there, so it really doesn't matter whether I win or not, so... I mean, with some damage ups, this could be really well done. Or hell, just with Libra. But I think that's all really to show about it. There's not really much more synergies that can go with it, because the second you find Brimstone or Dr. Fetus, it's over. You're not gonna get anything good out of it. As for longevity's sake, make sure you found a lot of damage ups before you found this. Or things that have a lot of tier rates, like Eye Drop Charm and Poison Charm. Right. So, oh my god, really? So the next item is Rock Bottom. This is by far the best item in the game, and the only way to unlock this by defeating Boss Rush is Jacob and Esau. So Boss Rush, if you don't know, is a sub mini game which you can do. If you beat Mom in 20 minutes, you get access to Boss Rush, which gives you 4 items to pick. And when you pick up the item, it sends all the bosses within the game after you. After completing it, you also get a final bonus item. So that is Ludovico Technique, and the Ludovico Technique, in my opinion, is one of my favorite items. Although it does ruin many runs if you don't know how to use it. So we're gonna include Rock Bottom. Now what Rock Bottom does is when you pick it up, well, here's what it's supposed to do. So any damage ups or any sort of, you know, stats upgrades that you had should reset back to whatever you're looking at right now. So like, let's say you found this at like floor 4, you have 14 damage, 5 tier rate, 1.6 speed. If you pick up Rock Bottom, it will revert it all the way back to how they started. And yeah, that's how it worked. But from that point on, you would never get any stats downs, ever. Any negatives that you would get would be void and true. There's no way you're gonna get any damage down. So like, for example, let's say next you find, but you know, it doesn't do the reset part. So if you find Rock Bottom very later in the run, don't worry about picking it up. It's not gonna do anything negative to you. And the best part about it is that you can find it with you can find it in tinted rocks. It's just extremely rare. So let's go back to putting almond milk. Almond milk is there. As you can see, there is no damage down. We still do full damage and shoot fast. Like, let's talk about another bad damage down, or hell, just like even lower. Let's try Dead Onion. Dead Onion gives you slower shot speed. Yeah, bigger hitboxes. It's supposed to be a shot speed down and range down. I mean range up. Let's talk about other bad ones. Like Epic Hack is supposed to give you slower tiers. So now, any stats up you get, it's basically null and void. Cricket's head. Yeah, I want to die. I mean, no, not Cricket's head. Uh, Cricket's body. It's supposed to give you a 10 range down, but you don't have to worry about that. How about Mutant Spider? That one's a horrific one. Like uh, if you find it at early floors, it will take you down like 20 fire rate. Again, you don't have to worry about it. I'm dead. But that's rock bottom. That's why I wanted to do beat Jacob Nisa right off the bat so I can get this item. So the next item we'll be doing is Enigma Bombs. Now, Enigma Bombs are a strange case. They're basically fruitcake and with Dr. Peters. And the problem with Enigma Bombs is that there's some extremely dangerous synergies. So let's put Enigma Bombs. So Enigma Bombs will do a random bomb effect whenever you use them. So for example, this will be Poison Bombs. That's Sad Bombs. I don't know what type of bomb that was. Sad Bomb again. Another Sad Bomb. Blood Bomb. Let's give ourselves Pyro real quick. Pyro, 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 Pyro. Go. Not sure what that one was. Not sure about that one either. That's hot bombs and stink bombs. I mean butt bombs. That was earthquake. Like rock bombs. Sad bomb. You know, like you get the idea. Now it could be great, but when you have items like Bob Brain that also synergize with it, it's extremely dangerous. I would not recommend it unless you have no other choice. But Enigma bombs are a great addition to the item roster. I mean, just look at how effective it is. Due to the random effects it has, it can change the tide of battle. And when you have multiple versions of a bomb already, it also uses items it normally wouldn't have. For example, you have butt bombs, it won't use butt bombs again, it will use another one. So it stacks onto your bomb synergies. Alright, so the next item we will be using is a bar of soap. A bar of soap is just a basic, just super basic. It's just extremely basic, cheers up. So, I'm just gonna put it there. Shit. So that's 10, 11. Again, it's basic. It's not a strong tears up by any means, but what you're looking for is a shot speed. It gives you more effective range, and it looks okay. Gives you a clean, shiny dome of a head. I guess I don't need to reset the run for this one because the next item is a Book of Despair. Book of Despair is a very unique, not really. It gives you your tier cap, upon use, which is great for early games, but otherwise not really all that good because it doesn't surpass that tier gap. So for example, let's say you're at 5 and use the Book of Despair, it does virtually nothing. So first, let's get this thing loaded up. I think a perfect example would be the boss. Going like super aggressive because I want to speed through this one. Boom, we're at 5 tier rate, which is the normal cap. There's nothing that can bring it lower besides the tier downs like Capricorn, Fear Shot, like Mom's Perfume, Cricket's Body. I believe there's one more, but that's an Afterward Plus. You see, picking up that tier's upgrade did virtually nothing. Again. You know, but the Book of Despair is really only good for early game. Yes. Oh, speak of the devil. Alright, so next item we're going to be doing is the D12. Now the D12 is not like an the D12 changes all loads, like just like you see it in Afterward Plus. It just changes the playground, but it's extremely powerful in Antibirth, primarily because of just. I mean, let's take a look. So I'm gonna spawn a battery pack because I'm too lazy to like hunt down 3 rooms and you know all that. Mean coin. So there we got fire, we got poops. Now we got spikes, spiked rocks, more poops. Got a hyper bomb, more poops. Another more poops. Let's try it again. It's in the 150s. It's 150. Okay. Again, it's not truly hard to. Oh. Yeah, occasionally it brings down a trapdoor. I've seen it multiple times before when I used it. So that's another thing it does. That's about it with this thing. There's not really much to it. They do have the chance to drop a tinted heart. I mean, a tinted rock, but for the most part, it's not really all that useful, to be honest. Alright, so the next item we're going to be doing is the pastel candle. The pastel candle is an angel item exclusive. It gives you a -1 tier delay for each room without taking damage and up to a maximum of 6. So in other words, it brings your tier delay down, not your... It brings your tier delay down, which means you automatically go past the cap. So I'm gonna get Holy Mantle. Holy, where's Holy? Holy Mantle. And then I'm also gonna put a crystal candle down there. So as you can see, there's a candle. It already gave me a tier -1 chiller.
Here's down. Hey, let's do this.
It already gave me a tier to lay down. So right now I should be at 12, considering I took those really terrible pills. There, it's down by 2. So upon completing more rooms without getting hit, you get... Oh, oops, sorry. Upon getting more... Shit. Can you fucking not? Hold on. Alright, so again, as you can see, the more rooms you clear, the faster you get. Oh shit. It's another tier to lay down. I think the most unfortunate part about it is that once you pick up this item, if you want to keep your tiers laid down, you gotta lose all your hearts in the very beginning of the run, or now I can't show the max cap because the Flory guy is just really unlucky. There's not that many things to fight, but it's already implied. So just imagine it's a very stackable Capricorn. You know, very stackable mom's perfume. It's not very helpful when you first find it, especially when you first find it, but it does give you a very good, in the later run where you have like 2 fire rate. Taking damage is by far the worst part about Antibirth, is because there's many items that require it, like Samson, and Crystal Candle has no way around it. Like, for example, at least with Damocles, you can still go through walls, but Crystal Candle just lowers your tier rate. So we're gonna find a new... Yeah, this is gonna get old real quick, but I haven't seen anybody actually like take a look at the item room, like the items themselves, and give it like a proper like how is it gonna work and whatever. So next item will be the Bowl of Tears. The Bowl of Tears is an Angel Room exclusive item. So we're gonna go to Cheat Engine. We're gonna pop that boy up real quick. So Bowl of Tears is a much more effective Isaac's Tears. It charges by simply shooting, and when you're done, it shoots a Monstro's Lung-esque shot at the enemies. And they're relatively weak, they're not very strong, but they make up with sheer number. See, the reason why Isaac's collected tears sucks so much balls is because there's no damage bonus to when you use it.
Well, hey, health up. Hope you find that useful.
There's no, like... And if you miss, you're stuck in a very long, annoying animation for quite a long time.
I can see forever, which is really a problem when you're trying to sleep.
And if you have items such as Brimstone, or items that require charge, that automatically charge without you having to fire. So don't you worry about like, oh well, how does it handle charging? Well, because it's a really good item overall, and if you're straight going for the offensive, I highly recommend the Bowl of Tears. And it also makes a great deal when you pair it with Backpack, because it's one of the easiest items to recharge and use it for the double item storage cheat. Not cheat, but exploit. Which, if you don't know, if you have an active item with double charge and you put it in the back as you have an item that needs charge, you can just keep switching and switching and switching, and it will have full charge. Oh, that's actually really good. See, old capacitor here is a trinket, and it prevents your active item from charging, but instead you get more battery spawns. And there's no like negatives to using Bowl of Tears too, so. Come on. I did, big dummy. Sorry. Go in, fix it. Yeah. Yeah. Alright. So the next item we're going to be talking about is Blood Oath. So we're going to need the help of a couple of items. So what Blood Oath does at the beginning of every floor, it an onk, or at least whatever type of item that is, will stab you, giving you a speed damage up for the entire floor, but removing all your red hearts. It's also, remember to note that if you have rotten hearts, or you're doing that challenge with Bethany, never to have rotten hearts at your final when you have no soul hearts. Because you will die if you have no soul hearts to protect you from losing that final red heart. Because a rotten heart counts as one full damage, which will affect your soul heart. So Blood Oath. So here's Blood Oath. And we're gonna be using the item Forget Me Now. So I can show you. Alright, we need to charge it. Now, unfortunately, this does not synergize well with items like, oh, well, if you don't get hit, you get this bonus. No. This one's full of that. It also gives you the full extent of all, boosts. For example, you get full Polaroid invincibility. You get full, like, for example, if you lost 5 hearts points worth of hearts, it will charge your bloodlust to that amount, so you don't have to worry about like, oh, I'm gonna hit once and I still gotta it doesn't work like that. So take a look at my stats. So that's a +3 speed and a 1.58 damage up. That's pretty tough. That's like a pentagram damage up, and that's only for 3 hearts. Like, let's say I give myself something better. So I'm gonna give myself, what's the biggest thing that gives you like the most highest? Oh, the body. So I'm just gonna be putting a lot of the bodies in I just want to see how this looks. Oh right, Curse of Labyrinth. So I gotta go to F, and I gotta go and find freaking Forget Me Now again. Forget me now, forget me now, forget me now. Alright, so Forget Me Now and the body. It's gonna be a pain to find. Oh, there it is. So we're just gonna charge it up for one room and see what the full extent of this power is. Because you may need to know it for the Bethany battle pack. So again, take a look at my stats. Alright, that's a 14 damage up. The tears are huge. That thing is just gushing with blood. And the speed is an exact 1.0 extra. It's very powerful with more hearts. But of course, even with less hearts, it gives you a small damage up, which is extremely helpful. The only problem is that it leaves you basically for dead. But don't worry, we got Lazarus' Rags, which means it's not an issue. Which makes respawn items very helpful. And we're gonna go take out a boss with this. See? Ooh boy. Tears are huge, I didn't think of that. Yeah, but yep. A 60 hit enemy like that, it's over. It's over for him.
Holy shit, I don't think a toilet could solve this problem.
Alright, so the next item we will be reviewing is Play-Doh Cookie. Now, Play-Doh Cookie is very simple. It gives you multicolored tears. Bruh, this is the furthest I ever went for an item run. So again, what multicolored tier does that on top of shooting your normal brown ones, you shoot poison. That was a charm tier, I believe.
Lucky, cha cha cha.
Oh yeah, the amount of times you shoot is based off of luck. Like the amount of times you drop. Every time you shoot an affected tier, it's based on your luck, which is hard to manipulate, but if you don't get hit for an entire 2 floors at all with like no damage, which is great for characters like the Lost, you can get a plus 10 luck up. Now it has poison, charm, freezing, and I believe that's it. Each one is useful in their own right. If you want a bit of randomness without, you know, forking over all this, it's great. I'm not sure what the yellow ones do though. I believe charm tears should be stuck in there somewhere. Oh yeah, okay, so no. So the tintish yellow ones is fear effect, and the purple ones are homing tears. So I think that's about it. Just it cycles between 4 effects. Alright. So I think this is the last one before we pack it in. And it'll be Orphan Socks. Orphan Socks gives you 2 full start, 2 soul hearts, and it also gives you the ability to walk over spikes without the hassle of, you know, getting hit. Because nobody likes getting hit, ever. It also allows you to walk on creep without getting hurt, and gives you a pretty sizable speed bonus. So normally you'd be getting hit by this even if you had like flight and holy mantle, but you know, you don't need that. You could just simply walk on all this stuff, who cares, you know. Oh, your main purpose is to kill me and whatever. I don't want to deal with this room, so I'm just gonna run by. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Hi, baby plum. Whoops. Oh look, there's creep right here. Let me just walk all over it. Screw you. Okay, I think I have time or more, depending on what it is. So let's just load up a new room. So the next one after Or is Eye of the Occult. Now, Eye of the Occult is a very polarizing item. Now, Eye of the Occult has specific synergies that work with it, but there's a main problem. The main problem is, for items that require like charge, it's really not good because you can't just charge a shot like the other tiers. You have to like compromise. And for synergies like Dr. Fetus and Epicac, it's extremely deadly to use it. So only pick it up if you're for sure knowing that you're not going to pick up anything better. Otherwise, you give you a pretty sizable damage up. And lets you shoot at certain angles and at distances you would never ever consider fighting in normal Binding of Isaac. Because of the damage and range up as well as the shot speed, it can effectively hit the entire board. And if you're smart enough, you'll stack them over each other and make a big huge blow. Synergies that would be weird with it is Brimstone. Brimstone is kind of the strange one because you no longer shoot Brimstone, you shoot controlled Brimstone, and don't get it confused with it's very strange. It's like your beam turns an epic fetus, and wherever you aim it, as long as you're charging it, you will. As long as you're charging it, you will be able to see where it locks. So let me just find brimstone. Brim. Where the hell is brimstone? There it is. So brimstone's synergy is this: you have a laser, and it's dependent on what your shot speed is. So it'll only turn when you do it. Now, when you fire straight, your body will shoot directly at its target, no matter what. So this in turn means if you can cross yourself up with a shot, you can effectively deal yourself with a range of fire. So, for example, this. That will hit twice. It's kind of strange and hard to set up, but as long as you're shooting in the opposite direction, you will hit the entire screen. And if not, you can just use it like how most people will, and they'll just aim directly at what they want dead, and it'll just kill them all. I mean, the closer you are to it, the stronger its curves are, so let me just die there. And that'll be the end of this stream. I'm glad that I can explain these items a little bit more in depth, what they could possibly be doing. I know I didn't really go into depth like what they'd be in the end game, but the end game is something to be noted. It can't be predicted because the further you are into the game, the more things change and all that. So the best I can give you is what you should watch out for and how the items would interact with each other. The best way I can do is just watch the other streams I've had. The other streams show exactly what certain items do and they don't do, what you should watch out for, what you should never do, like pick up a Stranger Tracker. Never pick up Stranger Tracker. I mean, I guess the only good synergy with it would be Ludovico technique and Stranger Tracker. That'd be the best one. They're all attracted to your tier, and you can just keep that ball far away from you at all costs. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial of what every item does, and we'll continue on with the next. And from there, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.